Happy Arbor Day 2022. And it's Saturday, cartoon day, vacation day, no school today. Uh, anyway, Arbor Day. Never have we needed trees more. And you can say a lot of things about Sacramento. We've been here less than a year. And of course, there's always difficulties when you move and adjusting to a new place. But one thing you can say about Sacramento, that it has trees, wonderful trees, thousands and thousands, maybe millions of trees. And the city takes great care and gives attention to the trees. And there's many streets where you just drive down in the summertime and are shaded. The streets are completely shaded by trees touching each other from opposite sides of the street. So it's a big tree town, and for that I have to give it credit. Also, in just the last month or so, there's been a wonderful tree planting program taking place in Scotland near Loch Ness, where on Crowley's old property, Boleskine House, however that's correctly pronounced. And they've also planted the grounds with the biggest wildflower garden, I guess you'd call it, in that area of Scotland. So it really is an Arbor Day thing, and never have we needed the oxygen, the shade, and the cooling that trees provide us. But be that as it may, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, as I was talking about Goetia and Goetic spirits and Solomonic magic and things like that, I just sort of offhandedly stated, brashly, that the Goetic spirits live in our Nephesh. That's the hell of our guts that we pull that energy out of. And it was sort of a gross generalization, but in my limited bonehead world of magic, it's absolutely correct. In my book on Enochian magic, Enochian vision magic, I say no matter what system the magician chooses, like the system of the formula of Goetic magic or the system of Enochian magic or Kabbalistic magic. Not only that, but there are many kinds of Kabbalistic magic. Okay, some Kabbalists work with one kind of tree of life as their pattern for the universe, and some work with another. Okay, but no matter what system the magician works with, in order to make it work most effectively, he or she must become attuned to the system's particular way of viewing the universe. Okay, now that seems like a nice rational statement. But I have to give the caveat that every magician's universe is entirely their own. So if you say, "Oh, I'm a classic Goetic magic, Solomonic magic purist. That's how I view the universe," or I'm a Lurian tree of life Kabbalistic magician. Fine. Or I'm a Kircher tree of life. Fine. I'm a thelemic tree of life fan. Fine. The thing is that no matter what system you think you're using, you're translating it to make it 100% yours. So your understanding of the system is what you become attuned with. So my magic is my interpretation, my understanding of an existing system. And nobody else does it just like me, because nobody else understands it or misunderstands it just like me. So when I ask the question, or I attempt to answer the question, do the Goetic spirits live in my Nephesh? For me, with my understanding, or even my misunderstanding of a certain system, I'll say yes. Oh, absolutely. But I have a particular understanding of what the Nephesh is. I have a particular understanding of what a Goetic spirit is. I even have my particular understanding of what I mean by lives in. Do you see where I'm going with that? So for me to sort of explain what I mean by the Goetic spirit lives in my Nephesh, I need to quickly share with you what I think that means. And in the Chicken Kabbalah, under the category the four Kabbalistic worlds and the four parts of the soul, let's see if I can find it. I've got two diagrams, okay, based on how I'm chopping up everything in the universe to correspond with what Kabbalists for years have called Yod He Vav He, the great name of God. And there's a little obelisk there, Yod He Vav He. And so Yod's at the top, and this one is the pyramid of the Kabbalistic worlds. So going from top to bottom, Atzilith for Yod. Atzilith is where the male and female aspect of deity are still united in pure bliss. Now, if I would have written this today, I wouldn't have even opened up the can of worms of male and female. But for my illustration here in the book, I try to explain these worlds by using the analogy of a physical chair. And this physical chair lives down there in the lowest world, Hay. And the blueprint of that chair is right here. The idea of this chair is right up here in the next higher world, in the Vav. And not only that, but the whole concept of general sitting down is up here in the first Hay, but up in Yod, it's so general and it's so huge and it's such a big concept that it's just merely the concept of rest. Okay. So up here in Atzilith, the Yod, Atzilith is where the male and female aspect of deity are still united in pure bliss. It is where the desire impulse of the supreme deity projects the universal qualities of rest. The next lower world here, Hay, is Bria or Braya, the world of soft cheeses. No, Braya is the creative world. Braya is the world of the Thomas Edison archangel of chairs, the conceiver of the general concept of all chairs. The Vav level is Yetzirah, the formative world. Yetzirah is the blueprint of the nerd engineer angels of specific chairs who make the mental blueprints or designs for individual chairs. They're chairs fully formed in the mind. That's the formative world, Yetzirah, the world of Vav. And then finally at the bottom, Hey Final, is the world of Asaya, the material world. Asaya is the world of real chairs. Now, there will be 100,000 million Kabbalists that would say that's too simplistic of a way of looking at things. Fine. You just go embrace your more complicated way of looking at it. This is the way that kindly old poor Mr. DuQuette, with his pedestrian way of looking at things, that's how I have to look at it. Now, that's reflected in each of us, that each of us are a miniature version of that Yod He Vav He. And at the very top of us is what I've lumped up as the Chai, spelled Chia. And Kabbalists will say, well, it's an upper Nephesh and a Yekida and all. I just throw it all together with the concept of the life force itself, Chai, right at the top, right there. And that's our true identity. The Chai is the life force itself. It's our true identity, which for all intent and purposes is identical with the supreme consciousness of deity. The next lower level here is the Neshama, roughly translated the soul intuition. The Neshama is the part of our soul that transcends the thinking process. It transcends the thinking process and vibrates in greater harmony with the ultimate reality. Below that, again, for our Vav, here represented in us, it's the Ruach, or our intellect. This is all going to hopefully make sense in a moment. The Ruach is our intellect. It's the part of our soul that monopolizes our attention to such a degree that we identify ourselves completely with the thinking process. Then finally at the bottom, here's this Nephesh that I so cavalierly threw around, saying the Goetic spirits live in our Nephesh. The animal soul. The Nephesh is the primitive level of consciousness. We share with the animal kingdom instincts, primitive appetites, emotions, sex drive, survival mechanisms. So those are the four parts of the soul, Yod He Vav He, corresponding to the four Kabbalistic worlds, Atzilith, Braya, Yetzirah, and Asaya. Okay. Now, those charts, of course, are in the Chicken Kabbalah. Here's the 5 CD set of that. So anyway, had to plug something. And this is taken from My Life with the Spirits, the evocation of Orobas. And I'm not going to read the whole chapter, don't worry. But I am going to read that one section. As I mentioned in the last chapter, Kabbalistic tradition, or my understanding of Kabbalistic tradition, divides the human soul into four parts. Nephesh, the animal soul; Ruach, the intellect; Neshama, the divine soul intuition; and Chai, the life force. And we can debate on how to divide that one up. Because we are created in the image of God, these four parts reflect microcosmically in the four Kabbalistic worlds that emanate from the great macrocosmic deity named Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. In other words, my soul and your soul are miniature versions of the great soul of God, as above, so below. Theoretically, this means we all possess the same creative potential as our huge and vaporous counterpart. However, what keeps most of us from exercising our omnipotent prerogatives and doing godlike mischief is the unfortunate fact that there's a complete breakdown of communication between the four parts of our soul. We identify almost exclusively with the Ruach and try to understand everything by means of our intellect. We disregard the life force up at the top, which in the final analysis is probably our real identity, because the intellect alone cannot comprehend its profound subtlety. We're almost embarrassed when intuitive flashes from our neshama momentarily lose grip. The Ruach smugly holds on objective reality. We are almost embarrassed. Ruach even tries to rationalize the irrational tempests of our primitive animal soul. Blinded by Ruach's limited scope of perception, we erroneously convince ourselves that the higher aspects of the Nephesh are simply lusts and shortcomings of human nature. We cower in fear from the nightmarish demons of our lower Nephesh and attempt to exile them to the infernal regions of our personal or denominational hell. And herein lies the source of much pain and suffering. Ironically, all four parts of the soul are already activated and fully functional. Yet, because Ruach tyrannically monopolizes the cosmic projector, we are stuck with thinking about the cosmic adventure instead of living it. To remedy this unhealthy situation, the Eastern mystic ruthlessly assassinates Ruach and simply stops thinking. In Western ceremonial magic, however, we're not so anxious to throw the Ruach baby out with the bathwater. Instead, we ritualistically encourage the four parts of our soul to talk with each other, thereby emulating the cooperation exhibited by the four interfacing Kabbalistic worlds, our giant counterpart. Once integrated, the parts of the soul become the perfect reflection of the divine world, enabling the transcendent magician to wield the same immense power as the creative deity. As a naive young magician, I was rudely introduced to the various parts of my soul during my first attempt to conjure a demon to visible appearance. And then I go on to tell of my first evocation of the spirit of Oribos, where I almost literally had to undergo a magical cosmic nervous breakdown to realize that the demon I was evoking was from my own neshama. But I'm not going to read that today. It's Saturday. This is out in many editions. If you'd like to read that or scroll back, I'm sure I've read it on my morning readings. But anyway, that's it for today. We're going to not go too long because we want to go out and play. It's Saturday. Until tomorrow for Sunday school, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.